Are you craving a trip on Space Mountain? Well, we've got the next best thing. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePauli.
And I'm Patrick Dougal.
And guess what, Patrick?
What?
We have a ton of news to talk about today. Of course we do. But before we jump into everything, I want to mention that we are now on SoundCloud.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, you can get every single episode of Disney Coast to Coast on SoundCloud, as well as we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, we have a new YouTube channel. I'm happy to say all of our old episodes have now been transferred over to the new YouTube channel, so they're all in one place. Well, they're all in several places, but you can. There's a bunch of places you can get every episode. SoundCloud, YouTube, two of the newest.
Of course, iTunes.
Of course, iTunes as usual. Yes. So that's the business we got to talk about. So let's head into our Frozen of the Week.
Frozen of the Week.
Was that I can't tell if that was a theme song or if that was just a statement.
Nope. I don't
That
know.
was a mix of the two.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, I want to mention that this week we actually have been contacted by several viewers about a specific story, which of course we were going to talk about anyway, but they wanted to make sure that we talked about it. So Ryan Lamont and Jeremy Bennington, two DCTC super fans, thank you for contacting us, and thank you for all of your interaction with us in general. You're both pretty awesome. But the story that they wanted to make sure we talked about was the lawsuit.
It's so funny.
This is the most hilarious thing ever.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, explain.
Well, this woman,
Isabella Tanikumi.
sure, she lived in Peru or whatever, and she wrote this autobiography back in 2010. And apparently she's claiming that the whole story of Frozen is based off her autobiography.
That's basically it, yeah. And the book is called Yearnings of the Heart. I bought you a copy,
Oh, thank
Patrick,
you.
so you can...
I'm so glad.
You can read it before the next episode.
I'll just watch the movie.
Yeah, exactly, right. It's called Frozen. Yeah, so come on. Like, this is insane.
I think this always, to anything that becomes as big as it's supposed to be, you'll get stupid things like this.
How frustrating that must be for the Disney people to be like, oh, now we've got to deal with this.
Yeah, you're like, come on.
I would send my worst
But
lawyer.
I don't think no one is on her side. Everyone's like, what are you doing?
Did we mention how much she's suing for?
Is it 250
million. I would love to know where that number comes from. I always think that's funny in lawsuits of any kind. I'm like, okay, where did that number come from? $250 million because they based Frozen on her life, not the Hans Christian Andersen novel, The Snow Queen.
No.
I wonder if she would like to sue maybe Hans Christian Andersen's estate should sue her for telling The Snow Queen through her autobiography. Maybe
I think one of the biggest points that she makes, how it's a
Similar,
ripoff,
yeah.
is a character or a person in her story's name is Kristoff, but it's spelled differently. You should be suing anything with the name Kristoff in it then.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. And I think it's just ridiculous.
But let us know whose side you're on.
Yeah, right. If there's anybody out there on Isabella Tanikumi's side,
I want to hear your argument.
I would love to hear your argument. We will have you as a guest on the show.
Argue her point.
Yes. But guess what? There's more Frozen news of the week.
Of course.
Related to one of your favorite games.
Tsum Tsum!
Tsum Tsum as a new character.
Olaf!
Olaf is now in Tsum Tsum. If you don't know what Tsum Tsum is,
Yay.
you can listen a few episodes back and we talked all about it. But also, over at Disney Hollywood Studios in Florida, the Legends of Hollywood store, which I believe is right on Sunset Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly it's all Frozen now.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I don't know if it's like officially a Frozen store or anything, but it has been reported that like the entire inside is all Frozen merchandise. It wasn't a big announcement like the whole Disney 365 thing was, but I read about it, so I thought I'd mention it. Anywho, let's jump on to...
Oh, we have one more, though.
Oh, more Frozen of the Week. Tell me. Let's hear it.
This week, Once Upon a Time Frozen premiered. Actually, today, since we're recording it on Sunday.
Yeah.
But...
So how was the episode? Haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
But it's premiered.
You guys probably have seen it by now,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, you're a huge Once Upon a Time fan.
I'm all caught up. I'm ready to go.
Okay. So they're back. So that's basically, actually, I think Jeremy Bennington mentioned on Twitter, he's like, you're always going to have Frozen News of the Week as long as Once Upon a Time's on. So I'm curious if those episodes are going to be in every episode or not. You can let me know, though, because I don't know.
If anything interesting happens.
Yeah. Let us know.
Moving on.
So as we mentioned last week, we're going to start talking about all the Halloween stuff going on in the Disney parks around the world. So I thought maybe this week we could head to Paris.
Yay.
Paris. Now, not as scary as Hong Kong, as we were talking about last week. But the kind of cool thing that I noticed about Paris is it seems to be more of like an autumn celebration.
Yeah.
Than Halloween. Like, it is a Halloween celebration. They have a specific name for it. They call it Disney's Halloween Festival. And it's kind of funny because I was watching some video of the parade and such, and to me it looked like a Thanksgiving parade.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, they could keep it through Thanksgiving. Then I was like, wait a sec, they're not celebrating Thanksgiving in Paris. So it is kind of an interesting choice that they have to do that. But this year, I guess Maleficent is
the main
villain that they're focusing on.
Of course, mistress of all evil.
Of course. And they have Maleficent's court where you can go and meet the villains and have some fun there. And as I mentioned before, they do have the parade celebration and I mean, Thanksgiving, right?
Again, yeah. If you look at some of these costumes, it's like giant leaves and...
Yeah, and some of the floats, it's actually really interesting. I was talking to somebody recently about, who goes to Disneyland a lot, and she was saying how she wishes the Three Little Pigs were in the park, because she has memories of them as a kid and being chased and terrified of them. And I was like, yeah, I don't know who would remember the Three Little Pigs, but the parade this year in Paris, they have a float. The Three Little Pigs have their own little float that they're being featured in. So... it's kind of cool.
The Three Little Pigs come out quite often over in Walt Disney World.
Oh, really?
Usually, like, during special events and stuff, but usually every special event they'll come out.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do people know who they are?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. There's also a Halloween costume corner featuring Minnie Mouse, and you can go there and have fun, of course, photo ops. And apparently Goofy is the big... candy maker.
Of course. You can buy his own candy in the park.
I know. What are those? The gumdrops or the sour balls?
Yeah, he has a whole brand of Goofy candy company.
It's kind of an interesting choice. I wonder why they picked him. But then there's Jack and Sally Cemetery, which I think is kind of the coolest thing. They kind of recreated the cemetery from Nightmare Before Christmas.
That's really awesome.
That is pretty cool. Of course, I'm assuming the big curly Q mountain thing that they have.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Because right now in like Disneyland and stuff, you meet them like just to the side of Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, New Orleans Square.
In Walt Disney World, they're just on Main Street.
I was gonna say, where are they? They're Main Street. I mean, it's it's that time of year.
Yeah.
So, but they have a big Halloween party. Disney's Halloween party. It's only on Halloween night, but it looks like it's pretty spectacular. They have a fireworks show and all these cool surprises. But once again, as I was reading about this, it seems like this is all pretty much normal park hours. Doesn't sound like a separate ticketed event. So that's kind of awesome as well.
They hold one Halloween party?
Yeah, on Halloween night.
I assume that hits capacity.
I would assume so. I mean, yeah, I would assume.
I don't know how big, like, people in Paris are with Halloween, but I know here, at least Disneyland and Walt Disney World, they have multiple nights and they still sell out.
Yeah, and they all sell out. It's crazy. The thing that I was wondering is, what is Paris's weather like this time of year? Do I think they have seasons, right? Well, I know when I went to Disneyland Paris, it was snowing, which was a very weird sensation for a Disney park.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they have autumn-like weather, especially since they're doing this whole, like, autumn-like parade and stuff. But
it looks like everyone's dressed warmly.
Yeah. So yeah, Disneyland Paris. If you're heading there, Maleficent's the queen there right now, and she's wreaking havoc. But it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would definitely.
You want to hop on a plane?
Yeah,
let's just go
for Halloween.
For Halloween night. Yes,
we're booked. Have plans.
we're done. Cool. Over here, back in America. Over at Walt Disney World.
Yes.
There's some kind of exciting, unofficial, unknown news happening at Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we had a closing this week.
Which nobody's sad about.
There are some people who are still...
Who's sad?
It's the same people who are sad about American Idol, let's be honest.
Okay.
But my thoughts are the same as American Idol. Bye-bye Backlot Tour.
Yeah, the Backlot Tour, which... Well, first of all, has anything been decided about Catastrophe Canyon? Wouldn't that be cool if they made it a walkthrough? That'd be amazing. That'd be so cool.
I hope that leaves well.
Yeah, I mean, Catastrophe Canyon, it's been
part
done.
of the Backlot Tour.
Yeah, it's part of the Backlot Tour.
I feel like they're just clearing area at this point, so...
And that's the big question. So, a bunch of Disney execs were seen at the Hollywood studios recently, including John Lasseter. And some permits were recently acquired for Stage 1 over at the Hollywood studios. So, it seems like that little area, Stage 1, Backlot Studio Tour... Something's happening there. And this permit expires on September 30th, 2016. So that's like 2 years. Mm-hmm. So that sounds like something big. What are we thinking?
I mean, the rumors have either been always Star Wars or Cars Land. But now that...
You think of Cars Land?
But now that John Lasseter is there, I'm leaning more towards Cars Land. Those are the two.
I've read a rumor about a Monsters, Inc. roller coaster.
I'll be down with that as well.
I would love to see a new attraction as opposed to a... Although Cars Land, that's interesting because I'm thinking about the space at the Hollywood studios. And if you knock down Catastrophe Canyon and all that stuff, I bet you there is a lot of land.
The perfect walkway is down that New York street to Lights, Motors, Action.
Oh, man.
It's literally mapped out for that straight Cars Land shot.
Huh.
So those have been the rumors going around for a couple years now.
Although that's exciting news, it's also kind of disappointing
news.
Of
course, we always want something new.
Yeah. And frankly, Disney, we need something new. We need something new.
A new Disney property, not a licensed Avatar land, but...
Yeah. So, But yeah, that's kind of exciting. And the studio tour thing,
Bye.
It does sadden me, though, because to me, that's kind of like the official end of the original purpose of that park, which was to be a working studio. And although I think they shoot little things here and there at the park, it's, I don't know, but the studio tour's been dead for so long, in my opinion. I mean, when I was there, it was closed.
Completely outdated.
It was closed a lot of the time, and then when it was open, it was like nothing to see. So, if you are sad about the studio tour closing, I want to hear from you as well.
Yeah,
we want to hear from people.
That's still the only closing I'm upset about is Maelstrom, but we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, so yeah, there should be the battle: American Idol or studio tour. Or Maelstrom.
Maelstrom, 100%.
Maelstrom would win that, yeah, pretty sure. Speaking of new things, over at Tokyo Disney Sea, at the Mermaid Lagoon Theater, they're getting a big upgrade, and there's a new show going in there called King Triton's Concert, which will be opening April 24th of 2015. I just need to say...
That sounds awesome.
I'm happy whenever something Little Mermaid is opening. Little Mermaid is my favorite Disney animated film. I'm so excited that, like, the property's still big enough that, like, new attractions are worth it. Initially, when I heard they were getting a new show, I thought, oh, maybe they were getting Voyage of the Little Mermaid from Hollywood Studios, but this sounds like a brand new show. And the thing that really excites me about it is, you remember that scene in The Little Mermaid where, you know, you were go to attend the concert and Ariel's not there, and that's right at the beginning of the film. Sounds like we're going to be there. Like we're going to be seeing one of those concerts.
Oh, fun.
So that'll be cool. And they say Ariel swims above the audience.
So is this like a live show?
This is a live show, okay. Yeah.
When I see King Triton's concert, I think more of like a World of Color. Wouldn't that like make sense? Like he would control the water.
That'd be really cool. Yeah. But no, this is in a theater. They're doing some theater upgrades at the moment. And yeah, I'm excited. So I gotta wait till after April 24th, 2015 to go to Tokyo.
Okay, we'll just go twice.
Or we'll go April 25th.
Yeah.
That's my sister's birthday. April 25th.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Andrea. Anywho, there's also some news going on in both parks, I believe, Disneyland and Walt Disney World.
Well, there's always been confusion between different set of rules in the Disneylands and Disney Worlds, worlds in terms of smoking in designated areas and stuff like that. And there's always been a kind of unbalance between e-cigarettes because there's
how long have those been around?
I'd say a year or two.
Oh, is that it?
I don't know.
I feel like 5 years or something.
I feel like it got popular between like a year or two.
Okay.
Because everyone just makes the argument that it's vapor, it's not smoke, and all this stuff.
But it looks like smoke.
Yeah, and it's bothersome to people still. So Disney have finally made it official that e-cigarettes are considered like a regular cigarette and should be smoked in designated areas only.
Can you imagine if they cut them from the park entirely?
I don't think... well, I hope they cut smoking entirely.
That'd be nice, but...
people would freak out.
People would freak out! They'll be selling, like, nicotine patches at stands in the park with little Mickey Mouses on them. Or maybe the donkeys from Pinocchio with the cigars instead.
But I'm glad they finally made this a rule, because I've seen arguments where people are like, oh, it says regular cigarettes and this is an e-cigarette and I'm being more healthy conscious. And no, you're still gross. Anyway.
Wow, and no judgment on Patrick's part. I always find it strange, like... I honestly don't understand how they work or anything, but from what I understand, it is water vapor, right? But like when I see people indoors smoking them, I'm always like, what are you doing? I'm always so confused by it. It's weird. But anywho, that's a weird little thing. So if you see somebody in line using an e-cigarette, now you can smack them and you have the right to do so.
Yeah, it's in the rules.
It says
you can pull it up.
It says right in the rules, hit the person in front of you.
Exactly.
Awesome. Staying on our little Halloween thing here, there is first of all, I love holiday specials on television. Mm-hmm. Love them. And it sounds like Disney's kind of like doing it up with all of their channels. Disney Channel, Disney Junior, and Disney XD are having some like Halloween specials, but also just a lot of their normal shows are having Halloween themed episodes, which is kind of cool. I mean, for me, it's always like The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and Garfield's Halloween Adventure. Such great memories. Own all of them on DVD. And it's so cool to like Toy Story of Terror's gonna be coming back to Disney Junior and Halloween Town. Now that all starts October 3rd on Disney Junior, October 2nd on Disney Channel, and October 17th on Disney XD. Why they're spreading it out, I'm not really sure.
I always thought that all of Disney's channels loved Halloween as well, because in terms of like old school Disney Channel original movies, they loved making Halloween specials. Like every year there'd be a new Disney Channel original Halloween special, whether it be like Halloween Town High or Halloween Town, or there's a ton of them. And I used to watch all of those. Like, every time Halloween came out, I was like, oh, new Disney Channel original movie.
I used to love, as a kid, the Disney Channel would always show, like, they'd always tend to put together, like, these compilation specials, where they'd show, like, some of the old shorts, the Mickey shorts that involved ghosts and stuff. But one of the things I always loved was they'd usually show, like, a haunted mansion ride-through type thing, where you'd hear grim-grinning ghosts, and they'd just show video of riding through the haunted mansion. And I was like, yes, because, you know, I was a kid in Boston. I wasn't close to the parks like I am now. And just, like, any chance to see that stuff got me so excited.
Yes.
And the Pirates ride-through. They'd often show Pirates of the Caribbean as well. So, yeah, I love those things. It sounds like there's going to be a special called Evermore on the Disney Channel. So that's a whole new... I wonder if that has anything to do with Edgar Allan Poe, as the title might suggest.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Halloween towns, as you mentioned, are going to be rerun. I'm sure Hocus Pocus will probably be on there a billion
of course.
times. I love Hocus Pocus so much. But keep your eye out for that. And I don't think we have a new Halloween special airing on ABC this year, do we?
Not that I know of.
They'll probably re-air Toy Story of Terror, is my guess. But anywho, moving on from there... one of the movies I'm most excited about, Into the Woods, kind of had like this major error happen. Did you hear about this?
I did, but it was on a specific website.
It was on the official Into the Woods movie website, which is why I'm like, if it had been on a fan site or something, I would have been like, okay, it was probably just a rumor. But the fact that it was on the official site makes me think it actually is happening. They just don't want us to know, so they've taken it back. It's weird. If you're not familiar with the story, here's what happened. Into the Woods is a Broadway musical being made into a movie, as you probably know, by Disney, coming out on Christmas. And the story is based around fairy tales, so classic characters like Cinderella and such. And apparently they had like a cast list on the official website, and they started naming some of the characters after like specific Disney named characters. So like Rapunzel's prince, instead of being called Rapunzel's prince like the original musical names him, they had Flynn Rider, and they had Prince Charming, and they had Lady Tremaine. And now they're saying,
they're like, oh, we made a mistake.
They're like, oops, we weren't supposed to do that. First of all, my initial thought was like, how dare they? And then I was like, wait a sec, kind of awesome.
I hope that's the case, because I think that is kind of awesome, because in a way they're changing it more towards their style, which it's not going to be a complete and it's going to be Disney's interpretation of the show and not just a complete.
Which is it's a little hairy simply because of just the dark tones of Into the Woods.
Yeah. But
I do think it's really smart from a business sense, creating, your world of fairy tales. And so I don't know. Like I said, the fact that it was on the official movie site weirds me out a bit.
But right now they've changed it back.
They say it was a mistake.
Yeah.
How does that mistake happen? Like, really, how does that happen?
Yeah.
I don't think it was a mistake.
I don't either. But, well, we shall see.
We'll see in Christmas.
December.
Oh, my goodness. And finally, a bit of news at Walt Disney World. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train has already gotten a little bit of an update. We discussed before for Tower of Terror how they added in this whole video thing. Looks like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train got it as well.
Yeah.
And guess what? You have to have a memory maker to get it.
Of course you do.
Oh, so this is getting controversial now at this point. It sounds like they're going to keep adding these into attractions, and they're going to insist that you get a memory maker to do it. We've talked about memory maker a little bit, but if you're not familiar with it, Patrick, why don't you explain it?
Well, memory maker is simply for, I believe it's $199. You and either how many people in your party, as you go through the parks throughout your vacation, you collect all those fast passes, all those photo passes, get all those pictures, and you can get everything from your whole vacation onto one CD. So all the pictures you've taken, of course, if you've done it with PhotoPass people. So if you're planning on doing it, definitely make the opportunity and get a PhotoPass or keep it on your Magic Band. I think it's great for families who only visit one or two times throughout their lives, or if it's a trip of a lifetime. But in terms of like the regular park goer, I don't think it's a good deal.
Oh, because it only lasts for how long? Like a week or something? Like how long can you, like, could I collect these photos all year?
No. I think it's, I believe, don't quote me, it's just your vacation length.
Okay. So, yeah, that's kind of annoying because, like, imagine, we go to the park, we do, I just wish there was an option to buy the video if I didn't have Memory Maker, even if it was like $20 or something. Obviously, getting Memory Maker is a much better value, but if I don't want all that other stuff, at least make like that video available for $20.
It's just they're trying.
I know they're trying to get Memory Maker to work.
And the more the rides they do this on, the more value Memory Maker seems. Unless they jack up the price, then
$199 is not cheap. But
no,
and it's all digital, right? You're not even getting any prints or anything. So what's it really costing them? Not much at all. A CD-ROM, like essentially. But yeah, so now it's on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Tower of Terror, and I believe those are the only two at the moment.
Yeah.
And we'll see what's next. What do you think would be next, if you had to guess? I'd say Splash Mountain, maybe? I could picture it on Splash Mountain.
I'd say maybe Expedition Everest.
That's a good one. I say Finding Nemo the Musical.
I don't think
they're gonna shoot your reaction during Finding Nemo the Musical.
I don't think they can do that.
But yeah, so folks, that's that. Shall we move on to trivia?
Yes.
Do you have a question for me?
Yes.
Hit me.
Okay. Ready?
I'm ready.
Studio Backlot Tour.
Yes.
Catastrophe Cannon.
Yes.
How many gallons of water?
Oh, a lot of water. Oh, 100,000.
Less.
80,000.
Less.
50,000.
More.
55,000.
More.
I feel like I'm on The Price is Right. 56, 57, 58, 59, 60.
What?
61, 62, 63, 64, 60, 70,000?
Yes.
70,000.
70,000 gallons of water.
Wow. I did like that effect when it... I'll never do Catastrophe Canyon again.
Nope.
Oh, unless it's a walkthrough.
You can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's a good thing about YouTube.
It's seriously, this day and age.
Any attraction that's closing.
Oh, my God. Speaking of YouTube, I meant to mention this. Check out, we were talking about Disneyland Paris Halloween. Check out Phantom Wedding 2004. They did this super cool thing where so if you're not, the Haunted Mansion over in Paris is called Phantom Manor. Mm-hmm. And it looks like the Psycho House, based on Edward Hopper's House by the Railroad. So very iconic house image. They drape a giant white sheet over the house and they do a projection show on it. And it's kind of awesome. Like, really cool, because you have the sheet blowing in the wind over the house, being projected, and then there are like ghosts dancing in the front yard.
Ooh.
It was really cool.
Do they still do this yearly?
I think it was only 2004. At least that's if you YouTube Phantom Wedding 2004, you will find it. And when I was researching Halloween this year or anything, I haven't heard anything about it. But it was a really cool find. So I highly, highly, highly suggest checking that out.
That's a surprise news of the week.
Yeah, that was surprise news. I meant to mention it during the Halloween Paris stuff, but we get so excited. We just keep talking. So anyway, I got a trivia question for you, also related to the studio tour.
Uh-huh.
There is another Disney theme park that featured the studio tour when it opened. Not Disney's Hollywood Studios, Disney MGM Studios, whatever you want to call it. Do you know which theme park it was?
Disneyland Paris.
Disneyland Paris, okay. What was it?
It was whatever their second park is called.
It's called the...
Studio.
The...
Studio.
It's not called the Studio.
Movie something.
The Walt Disney Studios.
Yeah,
the Walt Disney Studios at Disneyland Paris also had a studio tour when it opened.
I knew that.
Boom. Nice.
And they also have a Crush roller coaster that I'd like to go on.
Yeah. That's completely unrelated.
Yeah, I just thought I might.
Nice.
I think they know by now that we have like the attention span of a 5-year-old, and we have like, ADD. We're like,
Disney.
Ooh, wait, we're talking about Paris. I want to go on this.
Funny. Anyway, folks, before we leave, we do want to mention that next week's episode, although it is brand spanking new episode, we are recording it in advance because we have busy lives, and so there will be no Frozen of the Week. But the following week, we will catch up and do 2 Frozen of the Weeks, assuming there is enough news, which hopefully there will be, because we got to hit our quotas for Frozen of the Week. But, like I said, next week's episode, brand new episode, just no Frozen of the Week, so don't be alarmed when you don't hear Frozen of the Week next week.
Yeah. Going to Orlando.
Yep. So, anywho, that's going to do it for us this week. I will talk to you later. Bye, Patrick.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.